Well, we're not going to talk about the Jews first, but let's first talk about fighting the BDS. Okay. Now, if you notice, in almost every resolution that BDS try to pass, they start, we are not against Jews. We love Jews, right? Some of our board members are Jews. Okay. Like UCI, for instance, the last week, they started with 83 items of accusation. And the first one is, we love Jews. And they do. That's interesting because, okay, they do. Which means they are using the distinction between anti Semitism and anti Zionism to their benefit. And we are helping them in the sense that we are fighting now to, we are fighting to accept the Iowa definition of anti Semitism as a means for fighting BDS, which means we are telling them, you're right. There is a good anti Semitism, or a good anti Zionism, and a bad anti Zionism. If anti Zionism is classified as anti Semitism, then it's bad. But all the others have a virtue in them, had an element of truth in it. And that is a mistake because what does it do? First of all, it plays their game and admits that there is something good about anti-Zionism, which I believe there isn't any. And the other reason that it's confusing, it gives a cover up for administration to pass the buck and to exonerate themselves from taking action, concrete action. Instead, they invite a philosophical discussion what is and what is not anti-Semitism, which gives them a free hand to uh, pass the issue to the philosophers instead of taking actions against actual hostilities and intimidation on campus, which are aimed at anti-Zionism. Okay? I'll give you an example. For instance, at USC, there was a case of Rose Rich, who was forced to resign because she was openly a Zionist. And 43 prominent professors, okay, head of departments and members of the National Academy of Science, even a Nobel Prize winners, right, came out and say, we are Zionists and enough is enough. And we would like to know whether we are welcome on this campus. And you know what the administration replied? We are going to organize a task force to deal with anti-Semitism. Not a word about anti-Zionism. Why do they love so much anti-Semitism? Because they have a cadre of philosophers who can discuss it for the next 10 years of what is and what is not, what approaches, what is over the line, and so on. Okay? Which means they are exonerated and they are giving the license for inaction. And the Jewish leadership helps them in that cover up. Why? Because the Jewish leadership love to be in charge of training against anti Semitism, and they don't want to deal with the real issue. The real issue is anti Zionism, which I call Zionophobia. And now we came to the reason why we need to have this fighting word, which are called Zionophobia. It has several advantages over anti Semitism. First, what is the definition of Zionophobia? The definition is obsessive denial of the right of the Jewish people to a sovereign homeland. That is the definition. And It has an element, you see, of irrationality. It's obsessive denial. And it is obsessive, as you see the behavior of BDS cronies. It is obsessive. It has several advantages. One, it snaps out of the BDS trap of the anti-Semitism philosophical discussion. It gets you back into the core of the issue, the core of the Israel-Arab dispute, which is the right of the Jewish people for homeland. So regardless if you love Jews or you hate Jews, it doesn't matter. If you are anti-Zionist, you are committing a crime. You are committing an act of a racist act, which is which stands against one of the basic tenets of liberal philosophy, the rights of people for self-determination. Okay? That's why it puts the burden on you if you're a xenophobe. And if I tell you that you act like a xenophobe, then something is wrong with you, not with me. And that is what we are missing in all this game, to blame the racist for racist actions and words. And take my words, I have been using it in many not so friendly circles as we have today, in debates with Muslims, with xenophobes. The moment you say this word, right, you are on a horse. Why? For two reasons. One I mentioned already. The discussion moved immediately from policies of Israel. Right? It goes immediately to the core of the conflict. And this is the Arab rejection of the idea of a homeland for their neighbors. That's one. The other reason, xenophobes really are not used to be accused of anything. They always consider themselves the top, the purity of liberal idealism. Okay? And here comes someone and calls them racist, blames them for their ideology. They are completely off balance, and they do not know how to handle it. Me, a racist? So, and the third reason why it's so important, because it rhymes with Islamophobia. And Islamophobia, as we know, is the cardinal sin today on campus. Equating anti-Zionism with Islamophobia is very important because it calls for equality of treatment. We would like to be treated exactly the way that Islamophobia is being treated and curbed on campuses. And once we insist on that, we are going to be much better off than fighting the lost battle of deciding what it comes first, anti-Semitism or anti-Zionism.